Police and the National Guard arresting protesters for defying a curfew imposed for the second straight night. Protests over the death of George Floyd, the black man who died in the custody of a white police officer, have continued in the city now for 6 days. And
another huge turnout for the second day. Thousands of protesters out in force.
Now, these photos, released by Taylor's family lawyer, show the damage caused by the police after they entered the apartment with a search warrant and fired more than 20 rounds on March 13th. Taylor was hit at least 8 times.
They came to demand change, despite a deadly virus, despite the dangers of large crowds, and despite warnings to stay away. Organised under the rallying cry of Black Lives Matter.
We're here because it is our God-given right to be here. And not 1 killing, 2 killings, 3 killings, or 100 killings are going to stop us from going where we want to go.
Again, looking back on what happened here, what's the first thing that comes into your mind about this incident that took place in Howard Beach?
Well, it's a shame that something like this is still happening in 1986.
Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! Up you wake, up you wake, up you wake, up you wake! This is Mr. Senior Love Daddy, your voice of choice.
Do the Right Thing, a film made in 1989 documenting a day in the life for Mookie, played by the one and only Spike Lee, who also directed and produced the film. We follow Mookie and the diverse community of Brooklyn, New York. As the day progresses, the temperature begins to rise alongside the tensions between the people in Brooklyn. This then escalates to a massive clash of ideologies, leading to the death of a character by the hands of a police officer. The film explores problems within society which can be applied to today's era. These consist of tension in race, gender, poverty, police brutality, and racism. This film holds a lot of truth to it, which is often labelled as controversial, and because of that, reviews have been mixed but mostly critically acclaimed across the world. Who is Spike Lee? Shelton Jackson Lee, born March 20th, 1957 in Atlanta, Georgia, is an American film director, producer, screenwriter, actor, and professor. Owning a production company 40 Acres and a Mule, which was what the freed black families received as an reward during the Reconstruction period. However, when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, the vice president returned that land to its previous owners. Stupid. I digress. Spike Lee debuted with the film She's Gotta Have It, 1986, which with all of his work regularly explored race relations, colorism in the black community, the role of media in contemporary life, urban crime and poverty, and political issues. Within Spike Lee's film, there is a harsh reality shown, which teaches us how, as a society, we need to do the right thing and fight the power that be. Fight the power. A quote I find sums up his views on racism is, "Racism is when you have laws set up, systematically put in a way to keep people from advancing. To stop advancement of a people, black people have never had the force to enforce racism. And so it is something that white America is going to have to work out themselves. If they decide they want to stop it, curtail it, or do the right thing, then it will be done. But not until then." So now we have learned about Spike Lee, his intentions and beliefs. Let's progress onto the production of the film. Production context. Shooting started on the 18th of July and filming took 8 weeks. Which is kind of ironic since the film only shows a day of Mookie's life. Being made in Brooklyn, a drug and crime-ridden city had demanded for the Fruit of Islam, a Muslim organization to close down crack houses and help residents turn away from crime, alongside protecting the set and crew, instead of the police.
I'd like to give you a little brief history of what took place in Washington when the community invited us to come in Fruit of Islam with permission of Municipal Park Council, and they asked us to come in and eradicate the community of the drugs. It took us like 200 or 300 people gathered every day in the community just selling drugs. There's a known drug haven. And we went in and the drug pushers disappeared. And as you can see, we're standing here in front of a known crack house. And it was sealed up this morning. And we're here, we're sending a message to the community that we're not going to allow this in the area anymore. Our owners set. And we have one more house located around the corner. We're going to do the same thing there. And Spike invited us here because he know we have a rapport with the community. We don't come to do no harm to our people. We came in and asked them to leave and they left.
Some of the residents of the city had been hired to help out with the production. It is stated,
we've been trying to employ as many local people as possible, whether it's in the carpentry shop or on the set as an extra. We also have been doing some community activities. Spike spoke at the school where we're housing our extras.
See, these people's coming around here, they are only coming here to make money. These here movie stars and actors or whatever they are, when they are finished, they are gone.
After the movies is over and you take this down and that down and that down, I don't see where it's going to help the neighborhood in.
The movie itself is not going to bring a patrolman on the corner. It's not going to bring us a stoplight. These are the things that the people in the neighborhood themselves have to work on. And the President of the United States can come through here. You know, they'll clean the street for one day, but that's it, you know.
Although not being a short-time help, I believe it is a good wake-up call to everyone who lives with privilege, everyone who is lazy, the people who are racist, and police officers. Now that we have looked at context and who Spike Lee is, we will now be doing a review. As soon as Do the Right Thing starts, we are thrown into an aggressive and opening credits, consisting of hot colours, fight the power, push in the aggressive tone, accompanied by Rosie Perez's powerful dancing. A perfect introduction to an intense and hot film. Cinematography. In terms of cinematography, there is a wide range of movements, angles, and sizes of shots that encapsulate the framing Lee and director of photography Ernest Dixon wants the audience to feel. For example, if they want us to feel claustrophobic, they'll put us up close to a lot of characters, closing off a lot of space. Sound. Most music used consists of African American ownership. However, there is some Spanish music used that can be heard in the film, showing a diverse community in Brooklyn. With that clash of culture, there is a scene where Radio Raheem and the Latino characters turn up their radio, but Radio Raheem's is just too loud for them. Also on Radio Raheem's first appearance, we see a combination of a Dutch tilt alongside Fight the Power, which tells the audience this character is not one to mess with. The music that we hear can also help us identify what character is about to appear on the screen, such as Radio Raheem we always hear Fight the Power. Not only the music, but this lack of sound or music can make an effect too. When Sal breaks Radio Raheem's jukebox, it is dead silent. Alongside the characters, we are just in shock of what just went down, and what is about to go down too. The abrupt cut from that silence to the fighting makes it more shocking for the audience, as we don't know what's going to happen next. This results in worrying about Sal's or Radio Raheem's life. Misunscene. As I said before, the colours and props have been used alongside other film forms to influence how the audience feels. For example, if we look at the three men sitting in the front of the red wall, you can really feel the heat. Bright red accompanied by the orange sunlight really makes you remember how summer used to be, and as you progress through the film, you'll feel hotter and hotter, and so you'll see a literal fire which illustrates the people's rage, and not just their rage, but it could also be a sign from Spike Lee and everyone behind the film who are disappointed with society. Settings and location were of course at Brooklyn because Spike thought it wouldn't feel as authentic as it did when they filmed. Editing. Do the right combination of montage and continuity editing were used in a perfect manner to tell what the characters were feeling and forces the audience to feel that way too. A perfect example would be the racial montage scene. This places the audience in an uncomfortable experience, listening to the characters racially abusing one another to the camera. In operation with tracking into the characters, the uncomfortable, claustrophobic and hateful themes presented within the theme perfectly projects our society is failing if we keep hating on one another. And this is what Spike is trying to reveal to us. The shock of the scene is intended so we learn that instead of hating on our diverse, beautiful communities, we can explore them and use it to make something great. Another great example of editing is the lack of editing. And I know it sounds crazy. How can editing be good if you don't use edited footage? Watch this. Apologies for the audio.
I'm beat.
Daddy, you know, I've been thinking, maybe we should sell this place. Carol and we're still ahead and alive.
You really think you know what's best for us, Pino?
Maybe we could, can we sell this and open up a new one in our own neighborhood?
There's too many pizzerias already there.
Maybe we could try something different.
I mean, what am I gonna do? That's all I know. What am I doing? I've been here 25 years. Where am I going?
I'm sick of niggas. It's like I come to work, it's Planet of the Apes. I don't like being around them, the animals.
Why you got so much anger in you?
Why did they work? My friends, they laugh at me. They laugh right in my face. They tell me, go to bed, stack. Go feed the bullies.
Do your friends put money in your pocket, Pino? Food on your table? They pay your rent, the roof over your head? Huh? They're not your friends. If they were your friends, they wouldn't laugh at you.
But what can I say? I don't want to be here. They don't want us here. We should stay in our own neighborhood. Stay in Bensonhurst, and the niggas should stay in theirs.
I never had no trouble with these people. I sat in this one day. I watched these little kids get old. And I seen the old people get older. Yeah, sure, some of them don't like us, but most of them do. And for Christ's sake, Pino, they grew up on my food. On my food. And I'm very proud of that. Well, you may think it's funny, but I'm very proud of that. Look, what I'm trying to say, son, is Sal's famous pizzeria is here to stay. I'm sorry. I'm your father and I love you. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
Within the scene we just watched, you could see Pino and Sal's raw emotion towards each other, towards other people, and a weak side, an anxious Pino we don't really see through the rest of the film until the end. This raw emotion, the lack of editing, and the tracking in of the camera really emphasizes how we are learning about Pino. A lot of directors feel as if we need to get an over-the-top monologue to find out who a character really is. But in this scene we find out why Pino is like this, in an easy and raw way. I know I'm saying raw a lot, but it's true. The lack of editing gives us that feeling. So then audience members, even though they don't want to, will feel sympathy for him. which is a very hard thing to do, knowing how much of an idiot Pino can be. Conclusion. This film is a lot of things. It could be seen as a political message, a wake-up call, or even a slap in the face. The fact that this disgusting behaviour like police brutality, racism, systemic racism even carries on, even after all these innocent murders, and there is still no change. Still, this film applies to today's so-called woke society, when we'd rather focus on how many likes we got than innocent people dying. All these people, human beings with families, have been murdered. Do the right thing warned us, but now it's time to wake up. It's time to...
We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power.